welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be doing one quick episode covering everything that happened in the most recent season of The Ultimatum. So that's what we're going to be doing. Just before we head into that, we're not going to be doing any hot goss in this episode. We treat the Netflix episodes all the same. No hot goss. We just jump usually right in. But I'm going to do one quick, very, very quick announcement. Just a reminder, Patreon is coming soon. It launches on February 1st. However, the first episode won't be coming out until February 6th because, like I said, we're going to be covering Jersey Shore, and I want to stay true to the Jersey Shore and do it on Thursdays. So that's going to be coming out on February 6th. There is going to be a drop already there, so you guys can comment and whatever on there. So that will be, the first episode is coming on the 6th, but it'll be available to everybody as of February 1st to start signing up for whichever tier you so choose. If you want more information as to what that is going to look like, there was a special announcement episode that came out on the 16th. You can it's a separate episode. You can listen to that there. And then also it will be available on my website. It's going to be something will be available on the socials as well. Everything will be there so you can take a look and see if you're interested. We're going to have a lot of fun in there. Okay. So let's get into The Ultimatum. We're going to be going episode by episode for the most part. But just kind of follow along here as we go. The first episode is not going to be a whole lot really to discuss, but we're going to get into who the couples are. So we have Zaina and JR. The first time I saw JR, I'm like, God damn, he is gorgeous. He knows he's gorgeous. Don't worry about it though, because I didn't get that fooled. This is a guy, although he has been married before, this is a guy who, I mean, I think partially the reason maybe why he is hesitant of getting married is because of his previous marriage, and that I can relate with. But I think like the thing with him is like, he's so hot. The man's a Scorpio, need I say more? Trouble. But he's a fuckboy. He's in his fuckboy era because he didn't have that before. So this is a guy you have fun with. This is not a guy you try to marry. That's all I'm saying. I think he has the capabilities of getting there once he thinks he's ready to be there. But until then, he's in his fuckboy era. He ain't about this. So they are in their 30s, thank God. Most of the people on this is older, except for one is like 23, and I'm like, or 24, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then like the oldest is 38, and I like to see more of that. So there we have Nick and Sandy. Speak of a 38-year-old. There's a 10-year age difference. Like I said, he's 38, she's 29. And he says he wants to live with her. He wants them to live together. She doesn't want to do that. Her reasoning for that was because both of these people moved to LA, and he had been already living there for about 15 years. She had just recently moved, and she kind of just wanted to have her fun. I think there was a joke there where he said, she's in her Coachella days, I'm on the couch days. So they're just in two different places. Here's the thing though, like, if he wants to be married, because he is older, he wants to settle down. And listen, there's a reason why I said Jessica, I'll get into that in a minute. Sandy is she's a hot girl. She's a hot girl, bang body, and that's probably what leads him to wanting to be with her. But if she like l- listen to what she's saying, she wants to be the party girl. She is not ready for marriage. And yes, the reason I called her Jessica is because she looks like Jessica from Love is Blind. She is Jessica 2.0. And I do like Sandy. Jessica's my whole girl though, but I do like Sandy. And this was funny. This felt like a callback. She actually said that people think she looks like Megan Fox, and I said, "Yeah, girl, you do. You do. You do. Chelsea, not so much, but you, girl, you do." Yeah. Okay. So then we have Mariah and Caleb. This is the 24-year-old. She wants to get married. She says, "Yeah, I know I'm 24, but like I feel like I know what I want," and kind of there's some trauma there with her. We'll kind of maybe talk about it a little bit, but she's 24, he's 29. And that's kind of that. They're we'll get to them. Then we have Dave and Vanessa, not much to really report on them. Then we have Arya and Scotty. That's his freaking name. Y'all, I hate this guy. I hate this guy. I hate this guy. Like, there's parts of JR that I don't like, obviously, and we'll get to it. How he kind of acted in the reunion pissed me off. But at least he's real about it. I think he also has a nice side to him. Scotty's an asshole. Scotty thinks he's a nice guy and he's not. More on that later. So they live in separate states currently. Um, and I think like the reason for that is she's at the height of her career. She's happy with that kind of right now. And she says that she feels that if she does agree to marry him, she would have to move to him in order to make him happy. And probably, because why should she have to be the one to forfeit her career and her job because of you? You know what I mean? Anyway, we learn here just a useless piece of information because we're talking about Scorpios. Nick and Vanessa are both Scorpios, y'all. I didn't realize they're actually born on the same day. So that's crazy. Good for you guys. So Zaina and Scotty in this episode, now we're kind of they done the breakup. They're in the dating aspect of things. They're kind of talking because we kind of see there's a connection kind of happening between Scotty and Zaina. Um, and they're at like this bar of some sort and they're talking. And then they're holding hands, which sets Ari off. Now, yeah, personally, for me, until you've made your choice of who you're doing trial marriage with, I feel like that kind of affection of holding hands, kissing, like hugging is one thing, but of like holding hands, kissing, because those are things that are usually reserved for one person and one person only. I mean, I ain't out here holding hands and kissing people, all willy-nilly, you know what I mean? I've never done that. Um, so it's never done that, but never had an issue with other things. They'll leave that there. But it's just, I feel like that's something that should wait. And I feel like if you're going to do it, the reason I say the kissing part is because of what comes a little later. At least that happened away from others. This is happening in a group setting. And you're not even thinking about how that's going to make your girlfriend feel. I understand the whole like optics of the breakup and stuff like that. I feel like this season was the first season where everyone is really taking that seriously of bitch, we've broken up. Like, so what? If I'm holding hands or kissing somebody. But this is the first time it's really been taken seriously. And I just think like, yes, you're supposed to be quote unquote broken up, but like take into consideration how your person who you came here with, who you claim you want to marry, because Scotty is the one who issued the ultimatum, kind of understand how that makes someone feel. Now, I'm not talking on JR because I don't think JR gives a fuck. JR saw Sandy, he's like, God fucking damn. Like that's his sights are on her right now. So I really don't think he feels insecure with Zaina holding hands with somebody. I don't think. But that's not Arya. So they're talking about the trial marriages, Zaina and Scotty are about like whether or not they're gonna be the ones like who are gonna pick each other, right? And Arya kind of comes up to them at this point and kind of says to Scotty, like, I need to talk to you. And in this moment, he is just gross. He's invalidating her feelings, making it her fault for the reason why she feels the way she does. Bitch, you're the one who issued the ultimatum. She didn't ask for this shit. And he's like yelling at her. People are like seeing this kind of happen. He's gaslighting her in this moment too. Like it was in this moment, I'm like, oh, you suck. And she's like in tears, and he is not even showing any feeling of, oh my God, my girlfriend's crying. Let me just make sure she's okay. But like he just can't even do that. You want to know who the person was who ended up doing that for her? Was Caleb. Caleb is the one who's with the 24-year-old. He's the one who kind of follows behind her and is like, "Are you okay?" And like gives her a hug. Like, and then we also just preface this here too. Like maybe he didn't feel like he needed to go after her, but Caleb isn't the only person that Arya is kind of talking. She's kind of talking to Caleb and JR. And JR doesn't even make a fucking move. And JR says he's into her. JR says like she's the type he normally goes for. Biracial girl, and all that. So he is like that's the reason they talk, because he is physically attracted to her and is what he usually goes for. So it's like you couldn't even go make sure she's okay. But Caleb did the work, and that's all that matters. So that's episode 1. Episode 2, I have to talk about this because it's pissed me off. Because it made me kind of think, oh, so you're not really in the experience for the right reasons. That's what it felt like to me anyways. Because when I see two black men, Scotty and JR, talking, which makes me think, I'm gonna implore everybody to remember this conversation for later. Um, there are these two black men talking about, oh, never been with a white girl before. Have you been with a white girl before? I mean, I never tried one of those. I wonder if I should try one of those. Like they're sexualizing Sandy. Or at least JR is. Sexualizing Sandy, being like, I've never been with a white girl before. Maybe now's the time that I could try that out. And it's just like, okay, so wait, are you here for the experience of trying to figure out whether or not you can propose at the end of this? Or are you here to just fuck a white girl? Because you can do that on your own fucking time. You need to do that here. And that part of it kind of pissed me off. And the thing is, it's like, listen, I'm not even having the issue with the fetishizing of fucking a white woman, because in the end of the day, come at me if you want to, if you don't like what I'm about to say, but white women do fetishize black men. So I'm not even like coming for that, because two can play the game. But in the sense of this experience, it's like you're here for a different reason. Fetishizing a fucking a white woman ain't the time. And this is not why you're here. And it pissed me off. And it was in this moment that I'm like, oh, so you're not even taking this seriously. You want to fuck around and find out, basically. Okay. So this is when the kiss happens, and the kiss happens between JR and Sandy prior to the choice. And I'm just like, ugh, I don't know if that's a great move to be kissing each other when you haven't even decided if this is the person you're going to do trial marriage with. I mean, I don't particularly care if someone is showing affection in that way. I think sex is a no-no. More on that later. but it's I don't care so much if you're kissing. Kissing is harmless. But do in a trial marriage. You haven't even gotten there yet. Like, my God. Anyway, so then we have the choice, people picking each other, and this is what the new matches are. Scotty and Zaina, Mariah and Micah. Who the hell is Micah? For I didn't talk about other people. I just mentioned Vanessa. So Micah and what was the other girl's name? Chanel. I didn't mention them. They are also here, not for much longer. Um, yeah, so we have Mariah and Micah, Dave and Chanel. Then there's this drama. We kind of stop in the middle of doing the choice here. There's this drama between Sandy and Nick because Nick is all up in his feelings about because I don't even know if this is when it happened. If this is when they've chosen each other yet. I don't think they've even chosen each other yet. But Nick can see the writing on the wall and he can see that most likely JR and Sandy are picking each other and he is up in his feelings. I don't know why. I feel like, I mean, he says like he is feeling, clearly he's feeling threatened. It's not, no, it's not it's not a, what's the word I'm looking for? Rocket science. It's not rocket science that clearly he's threatened by JR, but it's just like, is there a reason for this? Because it feels, the reason why I say this is like, is it because he's black? Is it because he's hot? Is it because maybe it's not even so much even about that? Is it because maybe this is more of what Sandy would normally go for and you know this? Like, did she have an ex that kind of looked like JR? Did she, like, what's going on here? Do you see that there's like this connection forming between them? Is that it? Like, what is happening that is leading Nick to really get up in his feelings? And trust me, it doesn't get any better. It's just, it was interesting that he kind of like got there so quickly. So, episode 3, we're back with the choice because, you know, Nick, you're gonna have to figure this out for yourself. JR, who you choosing? He picks Sandy and she picks him as well. Then Nick and Vanessa match, and then Caleb and Arya are defaulted actually, really, because ain't no one else picking anyone else. And again, the reason with this was like JR, who you picking is because it was between Sandy and Arya. So yeah, Micah and Chanel. Once we're back at the apartments, we're seeing them texting each other, which it goes against the reasons for being here. The reasons you're here is to determine whether or not you're getting married at the end of this. You haven't even started the actual part yet, you know? So they're texting each other. You can kind of see like something's afoot. And we kind of see like she leaves. Like she's leaving in the middle of the night to go meet up with him, most likely. And it's like, I think, I don't know, either 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can't remember if she told, I think she was with Dave, right? I don't remember if she told Dave what was happening. Um, but she ups and leaves. She don't come back until 8:32. Don't worry, I got the time. 8:32 in the morning. The fuck were you doing? I mean, there's options of what you were doing, but the fuck was happening? You know what I mean? Then we see like, okay, I didn't really talk very much about Nick and Vanessa and their connection. So they really connected on the fact that they're both into the art world. They, you know, he paints. I think she's kind of done her own thing. It's not really like, I think like for him, it's like his day job. For her, I think it's like, you know, her passion. But I think I don't know what she does. I can't remember if she has I think she has an actual job as well, but like actual job that makes money consistently. I don't know if Nick did either, but I mean, some of the pieces that we saw him doing, they're good. But I think he might be a starving artist. But anyways, um, they really connected on that. And there's kind of like when they're in the actual trial marriage aspect of things, he's really struggling with, as we can see, really struggling with Sandy and JR. So in this, we see Vanessa and Dave and then Micah and Chanel. We see them meeting up alone, and we are then all we don't see it, but then we see those two couples going back to their respective apartments, hacking up, and leaving without a word. Not a damn word. Actually, at one point, I think it was Dave moves the camera so that it's not facing the apartment anymore. And again, it's like Chanel and Dave have nothing to hide because they know they're leaving. But Micah, if you remember, is with Mariah. And they must have gone in there when she wasn't even there anymore because she comes back and says, like, the shit's gone. And then Vanessa is with Nick. Yes, you heard me correctly. Vanessa and Nick. Vanessa's with Nick. And she also packs up and leaves when Nick's not there. And both these people have to come back and see, oh shit, we're alone. Like, their shit's gone. Don't know what's happening. And leaves them alone in this experience. So in episode 4, not much is really going on here, but the only things I kind of have here is Nick, I guess was looking through the window, and like while Sandy and JR are talking, it's innocent. They're having like they're getting like dinner prepared or whatever. It's very innocent. And they're like, look, he's like they're talking, and then all of a sudden JR kind of like looks out the window and is like, oh, like Nick's like looking this way. And they're like, oh fuck. And they have to like move away because they think like he's probably spying on them. He's probably realized, because he says he does realize, we kind of forget that on the reunion as well. He does figure out like where they are. He, wishes he didn't or whatever, but he does figure out where they were living. And so it's like, so what, you're gonna stare at them? Like, that's creepy. That's a very creepy behavior. I didn't even go into prior to all of this. He's texting her, calling her constantly. It's constant. After the couples left, Sandy and Nick happened to run into each other, and I do believe they did. I don't think they were trying to meet each other. I think they just ran into each other. And it was at that point that she admits to him, oh, me and JR have kissed, because he asked her if they did. So then the spiral happens. And the spiral is like him like just not getting the fucking hint. You need to fucking stop. Then Sandy says, I kind of love him, referring to JR. I'm sorry, what? It's been like, I don't even know, a week. Maybe you've only known him for 2 and you already love him? That's unhinged. Or you don't love him. You don't love him. Listen, I can translate when she says I kind of love him. She's kind of loving that dick. Now, I know they say they didn't have sex, but I don't buy it. I'll say it now. I'll say it now because I think it was after episode 4 is when we kind of have this weird situation that when they were in I think the hot tub at the pool, and they go back to the apartment, and then they're like, he like closes the bedroom door. I don't know, man. I feel like they did. I feel like they had sex that night. I do. I don't care what anyone else thinks. If you want to believe them, that's fine. But this is a man who's talking about fetishizing white women, having sex with them. He's hot. Let's be real. he is Scorpio. She is Scorpio too, but he is Scorpio. And in my experience with, because my boyfriend's a Scorpio, trust me when I say they can fuck. So, and well, 9 times out of 10, they can well. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they did. But anyways, episode 5, Nick is having a mentee B over JR, meaning Sandy's mom. So, because this is the experience, this is what you do. This is not the first time. It's not unusual. You meet the people's people, and her people happen to be her mom. And I'm sorry, but like, she's her mom. She can have her mom meet whomever, whenever. You're not entitled to being the only person who meets her mom. Like, get over it. And he's like freaking, y'all, when I mean he's freaking out, I mean this guy is, like when you scream cry, like, oh God, like that's basically what he was doing. It was this ridiculous. And I just don't understand how we got here. And I don't know how he found out. Someone told him, but yikes. And at this point, he's like blowing up her phone. And then he's like, fuck this shit. Goes to her apartment, goes to her and JR's apartment. And JR answers the door and says, bruh, she don't want to talk to you. Like, understand, get the hint. And he's like, what do you mean? Sandy? 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 Baby? Like, he's just freaking out. And she's like, we're not doing this. You need to leave. And she blocks him, which I think she should have done from like the moment she said she kissed JR. She shouldn't know. I'm like, oh damn. Like, that's not normal behavior. And all you're doing is pushing her to the man that you're so afraid of. How about you just don't do that? You know? Anyway. Then this they were having like the hangouts, the girl hangouts, the women, the men. And something is brought up during the men's hangout that Scotty apparently said that JR is only here for a hall pass. And here's my thing. Do I think Scotty said it? I do. The argument seems to be who told JR. I don't know who would have told JR that, but potentially Zaina. Um, I don't know who else like would have potentially said that. Or here's another option, because I think Zaina and Sandy seem to be somewhat friendly. Could it be possible that somehow she told Sandy and Sandy told JR, or maybe told somebody else who told Sandy who told JR? Like somehow this got to him, but I do believe Scotty said it. And the reason why I believe Scotty said it is because of what JR told him earlier when he's talking about fucking a white girl or fetishizing a white girl. That's what what is he? And I think he honestly thought, oh, you black, I'm black. So let's like talk about it, you know? So I do believe Scotty said it. Do I think Scotty's incorrect on saying it? No, because it's true. I do think JR came here for a hall pass. And oh well, really. But then Nick is like, have you slept with Sandy? He's like, oh, well, in the same bed. I mean, yeah. No, fucker, you know what he's asking you. He's not asking you whether you're taking Z's besides Sandy. No. He wants to know if you're getting your rocks off with Sandy. That's what he's asking you. And you damn well know it. Who asks, really? And that's what kind of leads me to think the fact that you say it that way makes me think, yes, you've had sex with her. And you guys have had this pact that you're not going to talk about it for obvious reasons. Um, And then with the women hang out, Sandy does tell Xana, and this feels like before they left, they kind of talked, Sandy and JR kind of talked about what Sandy was going to say to Xana. And basically going to be like, oh, nothing's happening. It's fine. He loves you. Nothing to worry about here. Like it's not what it looks like. But it is what it looks like. You guys are, there's people who do the experiment and, try to take that seriously. Then there's Jara and Sandy. These two are like they are in a relationship. Let's be real. And the premeditative thing of like, oh, you know, we're just gonna tell her nothing's happening. Like, we're all gonna watch the show back, bitch. Why are you doing this? Why? Anyway, that's that. Episode 6. Again, not much really happens here. Except for Scotty's true colors are starting to show to Zaina now. Zaina's giving Zaina this attitude. This was right after the men's hangout. And he's kind of giving her the cold shoulder because he thinks she's the one who told JR. And he kind of how he treated Arya earlier is kind of gaslighting her. And Zaina's like, listen, I'm not giving you that energy. I'm not gonna like buy into that. If you have a question to ask me, then ask me the question. It's like, have I been talking to JR? No. Like I haven't been. But again, somehow this got back to JR. I don't know how, but it did. But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, it was just weird behavior on his part. He doesn't know how to communicate. Like when he just doesn't. He doesn't know how to communicate. Episode 7. So Nick decides, you know what? I need to feel pain for everything that I'm going through with doing this experiment by myself. And Sandy's falling in love with JR. So I'm gonna go get a tattoo. And he ends up getting this exact same tattoo that JR has when he actually wanted to get a different one. And then he's like, I was going between these 2 different ones, and I thought I sent the other one to the tattoo artist, but it turns out I gave him the other one. And he's like, I really do like it though. Turns out JR has the exact same tattoo. And JR's like, well, I guess flattery is the best like compliment or whatever it is. And whatever the terminology is again. And, he's just trying to be like me. And it's just like, no, I think because honestly, it's probably more because he's an idiot than anything. And then JR and Sandy talk, and he says he still feels this connection with her. I think this is at the point where they're switched back over, I think. So while they have switched back over, he's back with Zaina. Nick is, they're all back together with their people. He's still like, I still have this connection with you. Honestly, this guy sucks. Okay. Anyway, Zaina and Nick, um, or was Zaina and Nick, and Zaina tells Nick about that second kiss and the fact that apparently she's the one who initiated it, which we do see the footage back. She did technically initiate it, but really did it matter? Because at the end of the day, whether she's the one who initiated or he's the one who initiated, they both wanted it. Like they're in thick, but they don't know that yet, really and truly. They won't know that until they hit the reunion. But it's like, really? What is this? Like it has to be more than this the 2. Like let's be real. Because I'm thinking I'm gone crazy. I'm like 2? It's only been 2 kisses? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, because he didn't know about, he knew about the first, but didn't know about, and that's the thing. At this point, this is how I do know it's after the change back, or the changeover, whatever they call it. Because it was during that time when Zaina hears about the fact that JR and Sandy kissed. And so she has the decency to say to him, oh, there was a second kiss. And apparently she's the one who initiated it. And he says, it's nice to know, you know, and he's like, because she didn't tell me that. So when they talk about it, Sandy and Nick, she kind of explains kind of what happened and her reasoning for doing it. She's like, I was upset with you. So she kissed JR in the hot tub and he's like, oh, okay. So that's what you do when you're mad at me. Great. Um, which that is kind of bullshit. You don't go and get intimate with another person because your person pissed you off. Like you don't do that. Like that's childish behavior. Um, or just own the fact that you kissed JR because you wanted to. And um so he kind of leaves the apartment at this point because like he's had it. And you know what? Like I do think he's valid in that because the reasons for why apparently, according to her, the reasons why you kissed him is bullshit. I'd be pissed. And he's like, you were never going to tell me. Like, when were you going to tell me this? And she says, I was going to tell you after filming. It's like, oh, after I proposed to you is when you were going to tell me. That's great timing. You know, it's just be on it. Like and again, honestly, I ask, is this the person you want to marry? Because I wouldn't want to be with someone who retaliates by kissing another man when we get into arguments or is going to keep a secret like that until after filming. Like what? After I propose. Like what the fuck? So nothing really happened on episode 8. So episode 9, it's ultimatum day. And JR and Sandy meet up first. Nothing comes from that. They're going their separate ways. JR and Zaina are next. And he says that he isn't ready to propose. And not only that, he's taking the seriousness of either you get engaged or you go with the person you choose for the trial marriage or you break up forever. And he took that seriously. He's like, bitch, I think we need to be single. I was like, God damn, there is a fourth option. You don't have to go for one of these options. It's just what they say on the show to give it stake. That's it. But anyway, yeah, he says that he thinks that being single is best for him right now. And maybe it is, but I think honestly, I think he just doesn't want to be in a committed relationship. He says that he really loves her. He says that this is the best relationship he's been in, but like he just doesn't I don't he wants to have his fun, and that's all that matters to him. Mariah and Caleb, they got engaged. Again, there was not much about them really. I think the biggest thing for him, I should say, was the fact that she wants to rush into this marriage where he thinks like, is too soon maybe. They also had the issue of maybe her not really trusting him, constantly following behind him kind of thing. Like she just I think a lot of how she leads in the relationship is due to her like uh, her upbringing and what she's kind of been through in life. So I think a lot of that is because of that. And though I understand it, it's not fair to him because he seems to be a really great guy. But yeah, there wasn't much on them because like they were just a boring couple. Sandy and Nick. Um, he literally says this comment. Nick does. And I think he was talking about how she looked and the fact that she looked very nice. And then he makes this comment about it's okay, yeah, here's what happened. He says to her, this experience, it's been a ride, or she's been a ride. Like their whole like relationship has been a ride. And he's like, it's a nice ride to take. What the fuck? And the thing is he realized what he said after he said it. He's like, ooh, oops. Like she didn't really catch on, or if she did, she didn't lead that she caught on to that. But he did. He's like, ooh. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Nick. Yes, he says she's a nice ride to take. Great. Um, so he doesn't think that she's ready. She's not. They break up. And I think she's kind of begging him not to leave her, which is interesting because it's like, girl, like, he's been, like, stalking your whole life this entire time. And she's, like, calling him baby, um, and all that, and he says, "There's nothing more to talk about, and who the fuck you calling baby? Because I ain't your baby. We're breaking up." Like, because here's what happened. I kinda going a little different here. Basically, he claims in the reunion that he wasn't gonna propose to her, but he is talking to her, saying all these great things, and he starts to reach into his, like, jacket pocket, and she's like, "Oh god, oh god, oh god," and she's freaking out, he's like, "Huh, the fact that you're freaking out that way makes me know you're not ready, and I don't think, like, this is gonna happen." Like, it really set him off, and he claims he was reaching for a note, not the ring, because he said, "I had no intentions of proposing to her." Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Um, I do think he was starting to have some realization that maybe he wasn't really as ready as he thought. So, I think there's a place where it's true he wasn't gonna propose to her, but it was very interesting to kind of see her react that way, just for him reaching into his pocket. That's yeah, I mean, I don't know. Um, so yeah, he says that, and he says, "When I reached," so this is where he said, "When I reached for the ring, my heart dropped because I could see the fear, and I don't want someone to be afraid to marry me." So he says here he was reaching for a ring. Reunion, he said he wasn't proposing. I don't know which is true, but anyway, and I do agree, you shouldn't have you shouldn't have to worry about someone being afraid to say yes. Or did he even do the freaking proposal? Because if someone is afraid of that, then that's telling. And then we end off here with Arya and Scotty. Y'all, they got engaged. I was shocked that they got engaged. I don't understand how she said yes. And I thought for sure she was gonna say no. And I'll wait to talk about that in the reunion part. But I'm just like, yikes, man. That's not great. Anyway, we're gonna take a pause here. And when we come back, we will jump in with the reunion. And I'm back. So let's jump back into the show. Start back with the reunion. So, so the two couples who left were kind of told in the beginning, one declined to come back, which you're cowards, honestly. You left. Stand by that, but like just come and answer for like leaving without a word and explaining how like that made Mariah feel. I think like you should have come. But anyways, it is what it is. Hope you're happy. But one is here, and we'll find out who that one is. I kinda just gave it away, honestly. That's gonna be Vanessa and Dave, so they'll be here a little later. So we kinda talked Mariah and Caleb for a bit. They're still together. They're hoping to get married in the summer of 2026. But then all of a sudden, art okay. The thing that I didn't talk about too in the first half was the fact that, like, there was this cute little connection kind of forming between Arya and Caleb. It was very friendly, honestly. But they seem to have been growing at least a crush on each other, but it wasn't a big deal. Because at the end of the day, Caleb was not gonna leave Mariah for Arya or something. Arya wasn't gonna probably, I mean, maybe she would have explored that, but I don't know if she would have left Scotty for him. So it's just I don't know what the big deal is and why we have to keep talking about it really, because like it's like she needs him to admit that there was more than what he's saying there was. But maybe in his mind, there really wasn't anything more than that. Yeah, sure, there's a crush maybe, but what's the point of talking about it if, like, there's nothing there to talk about, you know? So, yeah, Arya comes in. And she's like, I've been seeing you lurking on my page. So? So you're basically equating him going on your, I guess it was Instagram, going on your Instagram as he likes you and wants to like, what? Girl, you're unstable. If you really think there's any credence to that. Like that's ridiculous to me. Again, something, trying to make fetch happen and it ain't gonna happen. So she's basically says to, I believe, to both Mariah and Caleb, saying that they're fake. Now, I think she's kind of saying like the reason she says that is because he's not fessing up to there being more than he's trying to say there was. Mariah's fake for being fake nice or something. But I don't see that as necessarily being fake. I think Mariah has demons that she needs to deal with, and she doesn't know how to deal with that. And she doesn't know how those demons fit into the real world for her. But that doesn't mean she's fake. And to kind of quickly jump to "you're fake," this, to me, honestly, this entire conversation, um, of them being fake or whatever the hell, was very unhinged on Arya's part. Like, I don't understand what the hell. Um, so yeah, she's like, Mariah was calling him every night, which again, yeah, I think this was a very unfortunately, they both Mariah and Nick did not get the experience, but if he's accepting the phone calls, he's accepting the phone calls because at the end of the day, he's made it pretty clear, first and foremost, his loyalties and all that goes to Mariah. So yeah, she's like calling him every night. Mariah's like, okay, well, didn't know, like, that was what was going on. Like, she says straight up, like, right here on the stage, he lied to me. He didn't tell me everything, which, yes, he definitely, to her, kind of made it seem there's nothing there to worry about, when maybe that's not exactly true. Like, there might have been definitely more happening there, and he should have just been transparent with her on, yeah, a connection formed, but, like, it was just in the moment, might have been a crush, but nothing that needs to be worried about. Like, I'm not gonna go to Arya or anything like that. Like, he should have been transparent for sure. She says, watching the season back, it felt like I was being blindsided, which, okay, am I the only one that's like, I don't see this as a big deal? Because yeah, they were cute and giggly and whatever, but like it wasn't to the level, I guess, when I'm looking at how it was with Sandy and JR, like, that's nothing. There's nothing there to worry about. But yeah, she says you clearly downplayed things. And Caleb says, yeah, you're both completely correct. I was downplaying it for me. But it's clear like there was more there for him. So then we move on to Arya and Scotty. Where are you guys now? Well, they are not engaged anymore. She felt that she had made a mistake pretty quickly afterwards. And they asked like how quickly afterwards. She's like, oh, a day. They broke off the engagement a day later. That's not that. No, that's not shocking. So she kind of goes on to say like they moved in together to kind of help with building the foundation for each other, but it didn't work out. She said, let's try therapy. And she felt that she was kind of nagging him for a year. They were together for a year after this. And she felt like she was kind of nagging him to kind of do therapy because it kind of came across like he didn't want to do the therapy or he just wasn't taking it seriously. And she felt sorry, she gave him she's the one now that gave him the ultimatum to basically say, listen, if you do not go to therapy or you are not trying to make that happen, then I'm leaving. And she said, I guess that he just didn't take that seriously. And he says, they did do the therapy. She's like, yeah, a year later, like when it was too late at that point for her. And I think he says like a lot of shit happened, or for her, a lot of shit happened that maybe just maybe didn't help her mental health and This also was also not helping things. Um, she said that her grandma passed away. She was very close with her. And she also, trigger warning, for pregnancy loss. She did suffer a miscarriage as well. So I feel for her. That's a lot all at once. And to not feel like she probably had the support of Scotty and just doing the bare minimum for their relationship just didn't. It has added insult to injury. Um, she says, I didn't give up. I was tired. And I don't think I have related so much to anything more than that line. It's not about giving up, it's about being tired. Tired of nagging, tired of saying the same thing, tired of you not hearing me and not taking that seriously. You get tired, you don't give up. And when you get tired, you stop trying. And that's what happens. So that's basically that. We then move on to JR and Zaina. So she's like, he's lying his way through his version of events. But she says, we did birthdays, or his birthday, because like his birthday was not long after. Did his birthday, they did Thanksgiving together, they did Christmas together, which he says like we were broken up. It's like she didn't get the point that we had broken up. And she's asking me if we're going to do this or we're going to do that, or we're going to see other people or whatever the hell. He's like, we broke up. But she's like, yeah, we did your birthday, we did Thanksgiving, and they fucked. At least on his birthday. We did Thanksgiving, Christmas, like come on, like we're still doing things. And she apparently asked him like, should we be dating other people? And he's like, bitch, we've broken up. But I can understand having to clear that up because, yes, at the moment there on camera, you say we're broken up. But in all intents and purposes, we're still functioning as a relationship. But then, like, nothing really coming from that. Y'all, they also moved, or one of them moved, I think he moved out and moved across the street. I think the fuck not. Like, that's confusing for somebody. So I don't think it's crazy that she asked him, are we together? Are we not together? Um, should we be dating other people? Should we not be dating other people? Because I think that's understandable with like everything else. Um, so she explains also, because there's a lot of like just they do she does not like him. She does not like him. Um And she says, like, her birthday, they planned stuff for her, he had planned things for her birthday. Her birthday got canceled the day of and then not rescheduled. And he says, I was sick. Okay, so you're sick. Understood. Couldn't you try rescheduling it for another day? You know? Say, listen, I'm still really sick, but let's tentatively book something. Or, I'll come back to you when I feel a little better. Or the hell, like, that feels like an excuse to me. Um, and she also says that she says like the last year of their relationship, she felt like he had checked out, which that explains a lot because I think again, seeing how he comes into this experiment kind of being like, oh, ever fucked a white girl before? Never fucked a white girl before. It kind of feels really gross and disrespectful of your relationship. And it's just like that's what she felt like he had checked out. And she said the day before the experience, she got messages from other women, or another woman, I should say. And these messages were basically, I guess, trying to determine whether or not he was actually with Sana. Or I don't know if anything necessarily happened. I think they both say nothing, I think, physically happened. But like she's trying to figure out, like, is this guy actually in a relationship or not? And the text messages obviously do not vote in his favor. And he says, this idiot says, oh, that's photoshopped. Are you for real? You're literally going to say, oh, that shit's photoshopped? To, I mean, that's a new one. I got to give him props for the effort because that's new. Um, Anyway, so yeah, he says that's a photoshopped message. But she says like he's a con artist. That's a stretch. He's a liar. He might be manipulative. He, because I feel like saying someone's a con artist is such a stretch. Um, and to me, the definition of con artist is someone who truly does not give a fuck and is after their goal. And I don't think that's necessarily JR. So it's like I do think I'm sure at some point they were really in love and they were really in the bliss and all of that, but I do not necessarily say he's a con artist, but I think he is a liar. I think he's a manipulative ass. I think he like especially now, it's like you're trying to make sure you look good at the other end, and there's just no version of this where you're going to look good at the end of this. Um, she also says the relationship between him and Sandy was more than he said, 1,000%. And then we're listening to all of this, okay? You have Vanessa and Nick being like, so y'all think you guys can get back together? No. No. She hates him. No. It's done. I mean, it's done. And she's like, yeah, no. No, thank you. I'm good. Um, apparently there was also a conversation between Zaina and Nick where they said that they might have fucked, like Sandy and JR. They had a conversation among themselves saying it's possible that they could have, which I think they did. I said that already. Sandy says nothing happened at all. I listen, if anyone who I believe more is going to be Sandy, and I want to believe her, but I don't. I don't believe her. It's tough. I don't know. But Zaina says, but you came to me at the women's hangout telling me all of this stuff about how I have nothing to worry about when clearly I actually did. And it was completely unprompted. I did not ask you a question. You came to me because it was premeditated for her to do that. And I think that's a very fair comment on Zaina's part to bring that up. And then we start talking about the hall pass comment that was made. Apparently, Scotty says he didn't say shit about shit, which I still think he did. And honestly, I think it would have been warranted. That's the one thing I'm going to say. That was warranted. It's fine if he did. He says that it apparently came from Arya, which maybe it could have come from Arya because she was talking to him like that, and maybe something was said that made her uncomfortable or whatever. But JR has to say, well, I wasn't here for a hall pass. And you know what? I believe it's weird. I believe it was said. And I believe he also wasn't here for a hall pass. But I think when he saw Sandy with the banging body and she's hot and she's a white girl and he's like, ooh, that maybe it just kind of created some feelings for him. I do think that's potentially what have happened. I don't believe he came into this being like, I want to fuck. I don't care who it is. So then we see clips of JR of him saying, literally, even though he said, I didn't come here for a hall pass, y'all, the editors are on us. It's like the cuties. They're on this shit. They have clips of him literally saying, y'all, I came here for a hall pass. And all this other sexual shit that he says to like all the women, which is really gross. Because again, this is a guy who knows he's hot. He knows he has a banging body. He probably has a big old dick and he knows it. I don't, I was thinking about this because there's the things I think about. I was thinking about it and I'm like, I think he's probably gifted in that sense, but I feel like he wouldn't be good in bed. I feel like he's a selfish lover 100% because he knows he's hot and doesn't have to try. So I really do think like he's for himself and that's it. Um, but he definitely leads with that, with his sexuality because he knows he's hot. And I mean, nothing's more of a turn off for me than a man who knows he's hot. But yeah, he knows it and he plays to it. And it's gross because, again, that is not what this experience is supposed to be. You're not supposed to be like that. So yeah, you can continue on saying you didn't do shit or you didn't say shit, but clearly you said shit. So then we bring up Vanessa and Dave. Dave, not that Dave, but Dave. And Vanessa basically explains, like, kind of maybe the thing that pushed them into leaving was Nick was spiraling, as we know, and apparently made her uncomfortable. She will not say what he said. She feels like it's not her place to say what he said. But girl, this is a reunion, okay? We tell all in reunions. Tell all, okay? Just a note for a future. Even though this will never happen again, but seriously. Like, don't come on here and don't say, like, something happened. I want to know. But yeah, and then this is weird for me because I feel like we're playing schematics at this, and this shit wasn't necessary because I'm like, okay, oh right, like this is stupid, and you're being stupid. Vanessa says that he also was lying about things, and for example, one of those things that he lied about was being homeschooled, because she kind of, I guess, says that you're not considered being homeschooled unless you're homeschooled your entire life, and he was homeschooled for a year. Bitch, if you got homeschooled at any point of your life, you were homeschooled. You got homeschooled. Now, shouldn't he maybe preface, actually, I was homeschooled for a year? Sure, whatever. But you didn't elaborate. You didn't ask questions. Your mind goes to, oh, he's always been homeschooled. He never went to an actual public school. Um, and okay, fine, that's on you, but you, like, just like I say, it's on him to kind of maybe offer that information. It's also on you to ask the questions. So I don't think he didn't lie. He just didn't tell you the whole situation. But he didn't lie. He was homeschooled for a year. Because I can never say I was homeschooled. I wasn't. Um, do I know people who? Yes, I have cousins who were homeschooled, and they were homeschooled their entire life. Difference was my aunt was a teacher, so it was fine, but they were homeschooled, and whatever. They're smart, whatever. It's all good. But I'm sure there are people out there who are also only homeschooled for a short period of time. Hell, every person past the year of 2020 has been homeschooled at some point. So, or has done, virtual learning or whatever you want to call it. So, like, it's just it was the schematics of it. I was like, okay, you're reaching. You had me before, but you're reaching. So then we go back to Nick and Sandy, and he says, I wasn't going to propose. I was reaching for a piece of paper. This is where he says here, I was reaching for a piece of paper. If we remember, he said before he was reaching for a ring, or maybe I wrote that. I don't know, um, but he says he was reaching for a piece of paper, and her reaction threw him. And Nick says, it is what it is. But now he's seeing someone new. And it seemed to really upset Sandy. Like, she looked a little emotional at that, but I mean, it is what it is. Then we kind of goes through who's dating who now or whatever. And JR is not dating currently. Zaina is casually dating, and she has frozen her eggs. So good for her. And this is funny. This is interesting. If we if we recall, she just a few minutes ago called JR a con artist, right? But who helped her during the process of freezing her eggs? He did. He was coming over and helping her inject the needles, probably helped her afterwards as well, because from what I understand, depending on the person, it can be pretty painful. Like, you need to, take it easy afterwards. And he was there helping her through all of that. So how bad is he of a person if he helped you through that. And he says that's what's so hurtful because she's saying him this, that, and the other, but I've been there for her when she needs me to be there or she needs someone to be there. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But that is the ultimatum. That is a wrap. It was actually a pretty decent season. I was hearing mixed reviews. Um, just kind of like even just within my circle, I had my one friend, but both people I work with, but I had one friend at work who said she hated it. And then another friend at work who I use, usually the person I talk to about reality TV, because we tend to watch similar things. He's like, I liked it. So mixed reviews. I'm in the middle. I do think it was frustrating to see these two couples leave and kind of threw the experience off. Um, I think that was very frustrating, but at least where it delivered was with the drama with Sandy, JR, Nick, and well, Zaina's been really involved in a lot of it, but there was definitely this triangle kind of going on, and that was I think probably the best part of it. And also having very little Nick and Vanessa, the real the OGs. So but that's it. That's a wrap on that. So, kind of what will come next. Like, I know I said I was going to get Last Resort done, but these were kind of there, ready to go. So I'm like, okay, let me get these done. But you will be getting Last Resort soon. I do want to hop on that bandwagon. Trust me. Oh boy. So I'll be jumping on that very soon. B90, probably by the time I get to that and it gets out, it'll probably be next week. So, you'll probably get at least one of them or both of them of the reunion episodes next week. And yeah, that's basically that. I think the next thing you guys can expect after this is going to be Below Deck Sailing. That episode is ready to go. It's fired up and ready to go. So you'll be getting that one next. And that is that. That's it for me, guys. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I'll read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2@hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.